Federal governments have to navigate budget issues, as do cities. And one way we are seeing across this country that addressed right now is through higher property taxes, or at least proposals on that front. And we've heard about this theme playing out in markets like Calgary and Vancouver and Saskatoon as well. There's getting a lot of attention, though, in the city of Toronto after a proposed double-digit percentage increase in the property tax. I want to bring in veteran realtor John Pasalis, president of Realosophy Realty, to talk a little bit more about the ramifications. John, it's great to see you.
Yep.
First of all, what's behind these moves? These cities just have to find money to make up for shortfalls elsewhere?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're catching up. I mean, Toronto has not seen much of an increase in property taxes, and we have among the lowest property tax rate probably in the country. So Olivia Chow, our Mayor Chow, has to do whatever she can to kind of increase the budget, and certainly increasing property taxes is the measure that they're taking. Some
people get very frustrated by higher taxes, but what does the math actually look like if people are trying to determine the ramifications for their own home?
I mean, the 10.5%, seems like a huge increase, but when you break it down, the average household is probably going to see their property tax bill go up maybe $30 a month. And while no one likes to pay more taxes, I've been finding it's a tax that most homeowners have been largely supportive of. I think they see the challenges that the city's facing, and still, at the end of the day, property taxes are quite low in the city of Toronto.
When you think of the laundry list of considerations for the housing market, tax is certainly one thing. Interest rates is another. What's been on your watch list recently?
So, rates for the housing market, the big story has been the decline in fixed rates in particular. And that has created, I'm seeing a little bit more optimism and confidence, certainly from sellers and buyers who are sitting on the sidelines back when rates were, in the mid to high sixes, are starting to jump back in now because they're getting rates in the fives, which is making a huge impact.
We had these Canadian home sales numbers today that we referenced in our newscast earlier. Now, this is for December, but it was for the first time in 6 months. You started to see some activity pick up. Again, in your opinion, that's just because of the buzz around borrowing costs?
Yeah, I think that was part of it. We did see a bit of a pickup in December, and I do think that is part of people just jumping back into the market. People sat on the sidelines for a while. Prices remained relatively sticky in the second half of the year. Sellers weren't budging. Inventory was building up, and some buyers just decided to jump back in.
Now, when it comes to the supports for the housing market, because I think a lot of people are still trying to figure out where Canada's economy lands, let's assume we see interest rate cuts this year. Maybe part of that is because inflation is improving, but part of that could be because actually the economy is deteriorating. Maybe the job market is changing. How does that impact, do you think, what happens in the housing market?
That's certainly, I think all of it's going to have a huge impact. Lower rates are probably going to stimulate a little bit of demand, but if we're seeing these recessionary pressures, some job losses, that could take some of the pressure out of the market. So I don't think anyone in the industry is expecting us to return to a bull market. It's probably going to be a little bit busier than 2023, but certainly I think those pressures could be impacting demand as well.
There's also a constant conversation around the fact that we've seen record levels of new Canadians, the immigration story, which has been in many ways a support for the housing market, but also a complicating factor, right?
Yep.
If anyone in this country is trying to rent a home or buy a home and dealing with the affordability story, that has been a frustration. This gets into the political conversation all the time. There have been some suggestions that you need to see parallel tracks of population growth and construction activity. If you look at a market like Toronto, it's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
What do you see on the construction front right now? What's happening?
Well, that's the challenge. Construction is going to be slowing down, and it's going to be slowing down. If we look at the condo sales and the new sales, those are drying up. It's a lot harder to be buying pre-construction condos. Sales are declining, which means launches and new completions are going to be trending down in the years ahead, which is going to put further pressure on our housing market when our population's going at 3% per year.
And are those declining because of these higher interest rates, or worries about a cool down, or a combination?
It's a combination. So as an investor, it's a lot harder to justify buying pre-construction condos at today's prices and at today's rates. I think there's a little bit more pessimism. I think people are seeing people who bought pre-construction years ago are having a hard time closing today. the units they purchased 4 or 5 years ago are not worth what they paid for them. They're having a hard time getting financing. So these stories kind of ripple through and put a little bit of pessimistic tone on people who are considering buying today.
So you mentioned that word investor, and just to clarify, when it comes to new, let's say, condo projects, a lot of times for the builders, there's a component of that buying group that are investors, and they're the ones they get commitments from before they actually start to build?
Absolutely, and most, pre-construction condos, I'd say, are bought by investors, anywhere from 70 to 80%, and the builder needs to sell a certain number of units before they can break ground. And what's happening right now is many builders see that demand isn't quite there, so they're actually just not even launching the projects. They're just waiting to see demand pick up.
Okay, so we started the conversation just talking about property taxes. There's a new luxury home tax that took effect in Toronto on the 1st of the year. To your knowledge, has that had any material impact on the market?
I don't think so. I mean, I think not for people who need to move. If you're buying a $4 million home, your land transfer tax is going to go up $10,000. If you're buying a $5 million home, it's going to go up about $30,000. Obviously, these are big numbers, but someone who needs or really needs to upsize is probably going to continue to go forward.